Ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again with another video right before Wuthering Waves' anniversary. And this one is going to be focused on possibly the most highly anticipated unit we've had in a really long time. And that is, of course, going to be Hiyuki over here. And while we don't have her kit, while we don't have a lot of like specific information about how she's going to work yet, that's going to be released tomorrow, we've got some crumbs over here when it comes to this character, some of her lore relevance, and of course, what she's going to be providing to the story. And this is a breakdown that I'm actually very excited to do for one particular reason. Hiyuki's going to be the character that helps us save our daughter. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Hiyuki is kind of meant to be the main individual involved with tackling Aleph 1, getting Imith back, you know, resolving the issue with the Exostrider, and of course, moving the story forward. So with that out of the way, I'm very excited to see everything when it comes to the whole story reveals that are going to be in here. Get some of that background lore so that we head into version 3.3 with all of the knowledge, all of the context we're going to need to fully enjoy everything that the story is going to provide. So without further ado, let's just read some of these little tidbits over here and get right on into it. About Hiyuki, the Good Grades Talisman. Okay, we're getting some context about her relationship with Lucilla. For the 6th time this year, Lucilla thumps a pile of gifts down in front of Hiyuki. Needless to say, the 6th exam of the year is near at hand. The gifts are a plea for good luck that students offer to her. Hiyuki rarely appears before the students, but word on campus is that Lady Miko, who likes to leave good grade talismans outside of students' windows, was once glimpsed in Lucilla's office. So the doorway to this particular office has become a wishing well of sorts. And here in Star Torch Academy, a place of scientific pursuits, superstition seems to have found its place. The thing is, Hiyuki's talismans work like a charm every time. Maybe that's how she's gonna be bribing characters like Lene, Denya, and Sigrika. She's just gonna get some talismans good to go, and then they're basically guaranteed to pass their exams. I'm not gonna lie, that does seem like kind of academically dishonest. Like, if she gives you one, then you're guaranteed to pass, or you're guaranteed to get a good grade. That's kind of fucking wild once you think about it. And the next one is, how does it taste? To the staff's horror, Hiyuki picks up the energy gel sachet and gulps it down without as much as a frown. Oh, she kind of built like Mortier, I guess. After a brief pause, she nods. It tastes fine. Hiyuki is a brilliant cook. Why is she drinking nutrient juice then? All who were starving in the wild and saved by Hiyuki's cooking can attest to that. She can whip up a steaming meal using basic canned ingredients that warms the stomach and hearts of those injured in the Frostlands. Oh boy, I already see people. They're getting the wedding vows ready. Yeah, they're getting the wedding vows ready already. One would think that a good cook should have discerning taste buds, but the only remark she ever gives when tasting something is that it tastes fine. Even in the case of energy gel, which is apparently, I guess, a piece of steaming dog shit. Do keep in mind that this is like the only thing that Mortier can eat, because I imagine that she doesn't have a large intestine, because like Mortier's like entire lower half of her body got fucking chopped off. So like, yeah, yeah, just think about the suffering that that character goes through every day. A creation where palatability is wholly sacrificed for practicality. As the most popular food taster, Hiyuki is responsible, at least partially, for the growing list of funny tasting dishes in the cafeteria. If Hiyuki says it tastes fine, then it tastes fine. Or are you suggesting you're a better cook than her? I feel like at some point during the story quest now, she is gonna like whip up something, but then maybe she'll actually make something that's legitimately bad. I don't know. Like, is she actually good? She seems like the opposite of Raiden Shogun over here. We're just gonna have to see. Origami. Naturally, as a Miko, Hiyuki understands the art of origami. She infuses her origami with power according to its shape. The white bird is her signature animal. Oh, and that's the white bird that we've been seeing very often. It appears like in Honami. It's appeared in a bunch of like the Lahairoi story quests. That's 100% certain. But she has experimented with other shapes, though none quite worked as expected. One day, a few students who wanted to join the birding fan club couldn't stop talking about a flying cat they had photographed. Henceforth, Hiyuki stopped her origami experiments on campus. I kid you not, I saw it, a white cat flying in the sky. So this might actually be a lore reveal about the elusive realm. You guys all remember how the elusive realm works, right, ladies and gentlemen? There's like a black cat that shows up as like the ivory, or sorry, the ebony gatekeeper, and then you got the white cat who shows up as the ivory gatekeeper. right? And that thing is all about the cats. The cats appear everywhere. And I feel like them talking about a white cat in this circumstance, ladies and gentlemen. I remember talking about this at the start, right? I remember talking about this a long time ago. Is Hiyuki, like, represented by the ivory one? And it's clear Rover's, right, supposed to be the ebony gatekeeper. Rover made the Somnoir with somebody. And hey, we all know that the whole black cat being Rover was something that was talked about a lot during 3.1. Bro, the black cat is everywhere. The black cat is in like the flashbacks when you're inside Eamon's head, when you're like at like the old house. I feel like them talking about a white cat here, guys, it's gotta be significant, right? Hiyuki was standing at the window looking out at the excited students. The paper animal clutched in her hand. It's a tiger, she murmurs. Oh, so were they just baiting us? Was Kuro Games just baiting us over here? She's just like dog shit at Origami, and like, well, I mean, cats are technically, like, tigers are technically cats, so like they're just big cats. I don't know. Like, hey, all I'm saying is Kuro's the one that fucking wrote this, bro. Okay? Kuro's the one that wrote this. Maybe they're just debating us real hard. We're gonna have to see. I think she's meant to be one of the most lore relevant characters ever for a reason. All right? Hey, how about you just get right off my fucking back? Rock on, Lady Miko. Hiyuki doesn't have many interests. The few she has are solitary, like listening to music. She bought many Fleet Snowfluff albums and spent many hours listening to them. Late at night, when she's alone in her room, she would take out a record from its sleeve, inky black and labeled, with a name in stylized font. It's rock music, alright. Perhaps only when she's listening to rock music, swaying gently to the strong beat, can she forget the trials and tribulations of life, if only for a little while. When you know that Lahai Roy is like all about the cassette players, and like stuff like that, and I'm pretty sure Galbrena had a literal like DMC theme, right, where she like was listening to like some fucking crazy ass music as she went around to go like, you know, slay a bunch of tacit discords. Are we about to have like a rock segment with Hiyuki using the cassette player as well, and she's gonna kind of do like the same thing? And you know, maybe Hiyuki was like actually related to Amith tangentially, right? Maybe she actually was, because why would she buy so many of the albums? And also, didn't Fleet Snowfluff only come out with like 1 or 2 of them? Because like Fleet Snowfluff existed after Imith died, right? How many albums did Fleet Snowfluff even make? I'm not actually sure. But as far as I'm concerned, I feel like she didn't actually make a lot. So yeah, we'll just have to see. Maybe we'll see some of the past history over there. All right. Now we got the Resonance Evaluation Report. And this one over here, I think it's going to be really damn interesting, because what these typically go over, ladies and gentlemen, is like exactly what their ability is, how they got it, and of course, what some of the risks are with activating it. And we all know from like the breakdown that they did in the live stream, ladies and gentlemen, they haven't talked about it a lot. Like Hiyuki like erases, I think, part of herself every single time she uses it. Yeah, she like sacrifices her future or something like that. I think that's like the big sort of reveal that these fucking devs could not stop talking about during like this segment, bro. It was actually kind of depressing. I think that was the main takeaway that I had. So maybe it's like a little bit like Chang Li, who would kind of like burn out their life every time they used her forte, but like Chang Li figured that out. So Hiyuki's probably gonna find, with the help of Rover, right, some sort of solution to that problem. But of course, let's go ahead and see what the problem actually is. Due to multifaceted considerations, we have foregone a truly comprehensive evaluation of the representative from Ashinohara, the Miko of Flaming Sakura. What the fuck? Okay, so basically they're hiding info in here for sensitivity purposes. They don't want to spoil anything, I guess. The majority of the intelligence gathered herein is based on her personal testimony. In the recorder's professional estimation, corroborated through subsequent cross-referencing, she appears to harbor no intention of concealing any information regarding her background. After all, information regarding the Miko of Eternal Flaming Sakura can be found in just about any Ashinohara elementary school textbook. Oh shit, she's like fucking, she famous, bro. According to Hiyuki's own account, her forte is relatively straightforward in nature. It is limited to the freezing of ambient moisture, allowing for the manifestation of ice surfaces, crystals, and shards in various forms. So she's basically just like Giga Sanhwa. Verified by Ashinohara native staff within the Space Trek Collective and the official Ashinahara Archives. Bro, this definitely has to be a region that we're going to for sure because they can't stop fucking typing this shit out. Bro, they have written Ashinahara like 4,000 fucking times in this thing, and it's a long-ass name that sounds giga unique. The source of her other anomalous capabilities is suspected to be the Suzu, a legacy talisman worn on her right wrist. Hiyuki describes the Suzu as follows. It grants the bearer the ability to perceive and utilize future possibilities of oneself, though it does not allow for direct communication with these shadows of future possibility. We all know that during her ultimate animation, right? And hopefully I can get like a little preview of it over here, right? We all know that during her ultimate animation, there's like this really interesting freeze frame, right? That occurs where oh, here we go. Where you see like all these different versions of herself. And I think it's like unique each time you do it. There's like one where she looks like she's wearing like Chisa's outfit. There's like one, right, where they definitely all look like they're different ages too. So that's where the whole like future possibilities thing to me seems like really odd, because there are versions of her that literally look younger, right? That literally look younger than, well, the Hiyuki that you see on the screen right now. So I feel like that's just something to me that's always like super confusing. And I guess we also got to keep in mind that this isn't coming from like her ability. This is coming from the Suzu, not necessarily her forte. That's something to keep in mind too. Maybe then the story's going to involve her kind of like sacrificing the Suzu or something like that, or like using it, or she basically gets separated from it, and that's how she stops, I guess, like killing herself by doing whatever she does. We'll have to see. Verified via official oh my god, reports the legacy talismans are 5 relics left behind by the Sentinels, distributed among the internal factions of Ashinahara for safekeeping. Wait, this gotta be like Juei's then. Right, this is probably Juei's talisman, right? I would imagine. That seems like something that makes sense. The one that's related to time. Because apparently, there's going to be like one talisman associated with each Sentinel. So there's more than one. And I feel like the Suzu is definitely the one related to Juei. How many Sentinels are there? Wait, does this mean that Ashinahara has like 5 of its own? I don't really know, right? Because, I mean, the one that's related to time does make it seem like it would be linked to Juei, but I just think it's like kind of weird to have like multiple related to time. Who knows, right? I guess Juei's about stopping time. Maybe this one's about reading the future. I guess those are technically different. We'll have to see. Among them, the Suzu is said to grant its bearer the power to draw upon the future, obviously. Consequently, it is determined that the fundamental source of her exceptional combat prowess remains her own inherent skill. However, the futures available for her to draw on are not infinite. Out of concern for her physiological lifespan, aggressive deployment of her abilities is strongly advised against. So it does seem like the Suzu is the main thing that's putting her life in danger. I definitely imagine, right? I definitely imagine that there's going to be something regarding the Suzu that gets focused on a lot in the story. And that's probably like how we're going to, well, not kill her in the quest. That's what I'm imagining. Investigation confirms that every Miko of Flaming Sakura has shared a singular cause of death, vanishing from the battlefield without a trace following excessive use of the Suzu. Bro, like, maybe, like, don't do that. Yeah, maybe, like, stop doing that. Like, is it necessary? Like, maybe stop using it. Bro, they're just straight up saying she's going to die. So, like, this ain't even like Yuno erased her history. Bro, she's just dying. Yuno is way better off than her. Way better off. She gets to still exist in like full health and everything. She's supposed to just disappear completely physically. She literally consumes her future. This isn't like consuming like her kind of like consumes her past. She's still got a future. And I guess in this situation, everyone's obviously gonna remember Hiyuki. They all remember like the past Mikos and stuff like that, but bro, they die. That's wild. Anyways, overclock diagnostic report. All right, what happens when she gets a little bit schizo? The subject's Rabel waveform diagram exhibits an elliptical oscillation pattern with a stable time domain representation. All right, what the fuck does that... Hey, think about the audience over here. I think Kuro knows nobody understands what the fuck this means. No abnormal fluctuations were observed. That's the part that you guys are supposed to recognize. Yeah, she seems like not at risk of overclocking. Examination results are determined to be within normal parameters. Like I said before. Current overclocking threshold is exceptionally high and subject stability remains robust. There is no risk of overclocking and the subject has no prior history of it. However, a course of psychological intervention is recommended. Probably because she's, well, inherently she is killing herself every time she does anything, it appears. This Miko, how should I put this? Ashinahara textbooks never show her face, but they make one thing very clear. She is the strongest living warrior in all of Ashinahara. And yet, with all that combat, her readings stay perfectly stable. Something about that just doesn't sit right with me. So I think this is a good time to sort of like give a bit of like a lore breakdown of Wuthering Waves. Typically the strongest characters in the game, the strongest ones lore wise, are also at the strongest risk of overclocking because, well, the stronger your powers are, the more likely they are to get out of control. And so basically what they're saying over here is that it's very atypical, it's very strange that she is this powerful, but is also not at risk of overclocking. Think about it this way. The second resonance awakening, right, is typically what characters need to do to reach full power. Jinsi, right, is supposed to be giga strong in lore, and she only gets to that state because she overclocks actively during the 1.1 quest. Cardathea also overclocked too, and so did Galbraina. Or really, Galbraina kind of, you know, she's got her own thing going on, right? All of these characters are supposed to be like overclocking to reach like the second resonance awakening, stuff like that. And Amith obviously overclocked and fucking domed herself, right? Amith overclocked so hard she domed herself, bro. But then she got to become the Exostrider Sentinel, right, at the same time. But she's over here, supposedly this strong, but has never overclocked once. So that is what everyone's finding to be really, really, really suspicious. It makes sense, though, right? Now that I give you some of the context, now that I give you some of the other examples of other characters, yeah. I get your concern, but the data is clear. There's not a single irregularity. Then what are those shadows supposed to be? Parallel versions of herself from some movie? Okay, so they know about the alternative versions, too. Hardly. It must be the Suzu's power. Just as the Ashinahara records describe, it allows her to draw upon the future to a certain extent. So basically, instead of being strong via overclocking, I guess it does seem like she's strong by killing herself. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like, that doesn't really seem like a great move. That's definitely something that's gonna have to be addressed in the story. Yeah, that's like definitely something that's gonna have to be addressed in the story. Cause like, there's no way people aren't gonna get pissed once they figure this shit out. Like, this is... especially with how popular she is, right? Like, you can't just have her die like that. You can't just have her die like that. Now, appearance. Okay, long white hair. Yes, this is one of the reasons why everyone wants to pull her. Hiyuki has long white hair with a hint of gray. Oh, she's old. The hair accessories and the cord on her wrist were gifted to her by her predecessor, who took care of her when she was a girl. Oh, I hope we get to see the old Miko. That's gonna be cool. I hope we get to see the old Miko. This is an attire from a distant land, worn by Hiyuki when she inherited the relic bell beneath the flaming sakura. To the people of Ashinahara, its clean, unblemished aesthetic represents a Miko's confidence and her role as a symbol of eternal victory. Now in Lahai Roy, this attire bears Star Torch style additions. Oh, I guess that's all that fucking high-tech shit over there. As suggested by her teammates in the Special Response Force. I thought she was the only member of the Special Response Force. Wait, who are her teammates? They're all dead? Oh. Oh, they're all dead. Oh, that's sad. The bell Hiyuki wears on her right wrist is a legacy talisman from Ashinahara, said to be a vessel of its wishes. Though what she values more is the well-worn cord tied to the bell. It's her personal treasure. That's the Suzu, right? Like that, bro, that's the thing that's fucking killing her. That's the fucking Suzu right there. That little piece of shit. Then again, that makes sense, right? Look at the ultimate animation. It makes sense. Hey, I suppose it makes sense because that is literally the focus of... This is the focus of the second ultimate cast at the beginning, right? Then she does the slash where you see all the different versions. And I guess this is consuming, though, because she fucking breaks them. Yeah. This is actually like that song, bro. Cut my life into pieces. Literally, she doing that. She cutting her life. She cutting her future lives into pieces, bro. Actually, that's literally what's happening. And I assume, yeah, she using this. This is her last resort. Is that wait, this entire unit is a reference to that song? Bro, we got some. And you want to know what kind of song that is? That song, Last Resort by Papa Roach? That's a rock song. That's a rock song. That has to be intentional. Right? That has to be intentional. There's no way it's not. Wait, there's actually no way it's not. Especially with them saying rock is her favorite genre. Man, that's crazy. Hey, yo, hey, that is some elite ball knowledge. Imagine Kuro buys the rights to that to use it in the quest. That'd be crazy. That would be fucking crazy. I don't know if they're gonna do it, but it would be wild if they did. That would be good. All right, anecdotes. Cherished items. A sculpted figurine set. She prefers to spend her spare time carving alone in a corner. What? Why is she like this? Why is she like this? She carves a vast array of subjects, people, animals, plants, landscapes, and even intricate recreations of paintings. Recently, her focus has shifted from the Exosword to the Space Trek Collective's machinery. Students have even seen her sitting in the biting wind of the Frostlands, tracing the Exostrider's steel outlines into wood. Perhaps one day, the carving knife of hers will fully replace the blade hanging by her waist. No, bro. You're obviously implying that she's going to die in combat and erase herself like every past Miko has. What is this depressing shit over here? Yeah, one day she's gonna retire. No, bro. She's gonna die. Hiyuki's hobby. I sculpt figurines in my leisure time. It is an intricate process demanding one's complete focus. A state I find grounding. And no matter the medium or style, there is always a reference, a clear set of steps to follow. Adhere to them, and a replicable result is assured. Such certainty is rare to find these days. Is this like a reference to like the Gundams that like you build from like the little box sets that you get? Bro, she basically making Gundams out here, out of wood. Her favorite food is tea. And when she was young, she would steal sips from adults' cups. And all she tasted was bitterness. But then she soon learned to appreciate the sweet aftertaste, but then realized she missed the bitterness instead. I don't even know why this is like, how is her favorite food reading off as like depressing like this? Does this mean that like she isn't able to taste the bitterness anymore? Has she like lost her sense of taste in some way? Is that... Wait, does this mean, is this why she says everything tastes fine? She basically has Giga COVID. Maybe that's why she says everything tastes fine. Because she actually can't taste anything anymore. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's not good. Thoughts? Tales of your exploits abound. Folk legends across countless regions. Space Trek Collective reports. Slander from the lips of your enemies. Yet those remain merely the evaluations of others. It was not until I met you that I understood why they depict you as they do. Who is she talking to? Had our paths crossed sooner, I wonder... might mine have taken a different turn. Bro, this entire thing is like full of fucking death flags. Bro, I have never seen... Bro, they had the death flag over here. Perhaps one day that carving knife of hers will fully replace the blade. That's a death flag, 1,000,000 fucking %. Then you got the death flag over here. Oh, what if we had met sooner? Would my life be entirely different than now? That's another fucking death flag. Bro, this entire thing is filled with fucking death flags. Bro, this unit is actually gonna die. Bro, this unit is actually going to fucking die. And they're gonna guilt trip you into pulling her. All right, let's check out some of the animations. All right, she got that fucking plant. Cool. What else she got? Now she got that. She judgment cutting a sculpture. Why is she expending the budget to do that? What is she making here? She makes a cat! That's a cat! Y'all were making fun of me. Y'all were making fun of me because I was talking about the cat before. Why would she make a cat again? Why would she make a cat again? Boom. That's a cat. That ain't a tiger, bro. No, that's not a fucking tiger. That's a cat. Shut the fuck up. That's not a cat. Or that's not a tiger. And now we got the convenient animation. I will say, yeah, no, she kind of aura farming here. No, she basically just teabagging HSR. This entire unit is just teabagging HSR. You guys know it. There's so much pink. There's so much soccer blast. There's so much of that shit. Nah, they're just making fun of Hoyo at this point. And then, of course, the liberation and all of that. And, of course, then you get to see all the different versions of herself. And like I said before, right? How are these the futures when half of them look younger than her? This is the shit I'm confused about. Are these, like, actually, like, her kids? How are these futures? Right? How are these futures? Are these, like, her descendants that she's not gonna have? Is she basically, every time she ults, she's, like, aborting her future children? That's the part that confuses me. It's that these are futures, but they're younger. Right? You get what I mean? That's confusing. So hopefully that's explained. And again, how many versions of her do you see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Bro, 9 different lives, right? Cats with 9 lives. Dude, that has to be something. Bro, why would they show 9? When everyone knows that 9 lives are associated with cats. Bro, why would they have 9 of them here? It's gotta be related to cats in some way, somehow. It has to be. Why would they show 9? And then have the cats everywhere? It cannot be a fucking coincidence at this point. I refuse to believe it. Otherwise, that's some bullshit. That's actually some bullshit. They're just trying to piss you off at that point. Bro, this is not like Chekhov's gun. This is like Chekhov's fucking armory, bro. Anyways, that's my take regarding Hiyuki. I think she's actually gonna be one of the most lore relevant characters ever. And this whole little preview that we've had over here, right, just leads into so much. You got the 9 lives, you got like the bunch of motifs to like the cats, you got like the 17,000 fucking death flags that we've seen throughout like the entire goddamn thing. They're even telling you that she's like actively dying every time she uses the Suzu. And of course, trying, obviously, to make you feel guilty every time you cast her fucking ultimate, bro. This is the devs essentially telling you, yeah, you're killing her, bitch. Why are you using that move? Hey, why'd you do that? Because straight up, every time she uses the Suzu, and that's what she's using in the second cast of her ultimate, bro, you're killing her. Bro, there's gotta be something big that they have planned. Because it was kind of the same situation with Chang Li, right? Every time Chang Li used her forte, inflame it, all of that, she'd die a little bit, right? She burned out some of her life. But I guess in this situation, right, we resolved that in the Chang Li storyline. Hopefully they're going to do something like that here. Bro, just throw the Suzu away. Bro, just throw that shit away, bro. Throw that in the garbage. What are you doing with that thing? Get rid of it. Because this breakdown over here, ladies and gentlemen, is not looking pretty good. So yeah, that's going to be our take on the Hiyuki reveals over here. Lot of very, very, very relevant theory and story discussion. Should be a fun 3.3 quest. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.